Scott Leacott from Rowan University Women's Soccer Program. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Sorry for being a few minutes late. I start talking soccer, and I can't stop myself.
We all get like that.
There you go. Cole's giving me a sideways look. He's a football guy, our producer, so
I won't let him slide.
We'll let him slide this time. Let's talk some Rowan women's soccer. I was looking up some stats. They're kind of mind-boggling at this point. You guys are off to an 8-0 start, and 100 shots on goal in 8 games. You're outscoring your opponents 38-0, 180-32 shot differential, 41 corner kicks to 5. What's going on with the profs?
We just returned a lot of players from last year, and we've got that synergy going on right now. Obviously the games are going to get a lot tougher as we get into the conference schedule. Obviously the New Jersey Athletic Conference schedule is much, the games are much more physical, much tougher defensively, but we just, we've got a lot of moving parts to our team, which I think we kind of wear teams down. We sub, kind of on the fly, as you would say. We probably play about 24, 25 players. So it's one of the only years that we've had this much depth that we could kind of wear teams down, and I think we're doing that.
Talk about your goalkeeping a little bit. A girl we're familiar with here from the Cape Atlantic League, Violent High School, Shelby Money, heck of an athlete. If that name sounds familiar, it should. Her grandfather, Don Money, a former Major League Baseball player with the Phillies, so she's got some nice bloodlines going there athletically.
Yeah, Shelby's, we call her a soccer head. She's she trains so much during the off season. That's in her blood. She just loves to play soccer, and the fortunate thing about us having Shelby, and we also have another really good goalkeeper in Courtney Simpson. But we have 2 number ones, but Shelby's kind of made her way into that number 1 position, and she's just a great athlete. She's got great footwork, and she really loves to play the game, and that's hard to find a lot. So but she just wants extra training all the time, and she loves to face a ton of shots, even though we haven't given up a lot of shots this year, but she still keeps involved in the game. But she's definitely one of the top goalkeepers in the conference, and not even in the nation also.
Coach, let's talk next week, Wednesday night. You got a big game against Stockton at 6 p.m. at Stockton, doubleheader, I guess, with the men's and women's squads. That's always a great rivalry. Talk about that rivalry a little bit. We see it on the basketball court and in some of the other sports. And really, it's just a fun night when you get to play a team like that right, half an hour away. And a lot of these girls have grown up playing against each other. Talk about that rivalry a little bit and how cool that game is.
Yeah, it's like you said. All these kids have grown up playing against each other, playing with each other, and now we're on opposite sides. So, it's a physical battle. It's always a great game. It's always a 1-0, 2-1 kind of battle, and it's a game on the schedule you kind of look forward to. In our conference we've only had 3 teams from Southern New Jersey, so you look at us, Rutgers, Camden, Stockton, and you could throw College of New Jersey in that too. But it's a lot of South Jersey girls, a lot of Shore area girls, and we have a lot of South Jersey, a lot of Shore area girls. But it's an exciting atmosphere. I know playing down there, they really hype up the game. They usually have like a blackout or something like that.
Try to psych you guys out a little bit.
Yeah, we've played in front of crowds and all that, but we know it's going to be obviously a very, very, very close game that could probably go either way. I know they're on a good roll right now too. We both have good players, both intense teams, and it should be fun. It's the games you kind of look forward to, and games you want to, your kids want to go out there and step on the field, and just with the atmosphere and everything, it's going to be a battle, and we know it from the start. So it should be a lot of fun.
Talk with Scott Leacott from Rowan University Women's Soccer. Coach, looking at your resume, not a bad resume, 222 wins, 66 losses, 754 winning percentage. You were also a college All-American there at Rowan. What's been the key to your success throughout the years?
I mean, I think it starts with getting a quality individual into your program, and that's something we've done over the years. Is we don't necessarily always get the best player, but we get the players who want to buy into the program, and they're quality individuals. They don't get in trouble. They're good students, and just that work rate. I think you're looking at kind of a blue collar team who wants to get in there and grind a little bit. And, not saying that we don't get great technical soccer players, but we just want them all to buy in, and so far so good with that. I mean, we've had some down years where not everybody bought into it, but I think just the general philosophy of our upperclassmen run the program, and they teach the younger players, and then when the younger players move up, it's their job to teach the incoming players. So I think we've done a good job of getting them to buy into our philosophy, and we have overall generally good student athletes, and I think that helps.
Well, you must have some very nice young ladies on that squad, because not a single yellow card in the first 8 games.
Yeah, that's part of it. And you can't. One of the things is you preach being smart on the field, and that's something they've done so far. So still got a lot of season left, though.
Coach, real quick before we let you go, I wanted to talk recruiting a little bit. We have a lot of parents and student athletes who listen to the show, and I get a lot of questions from time to time about what college coaches are looking for. Parents, a lot of them are going through the recruiting process for the first time, maybe if they have a junior or senior, and they're really very new to the process. What do you say to parents? What kind of student athlete are you looking for? What kind of qualities do you try to pick out in a player that you want to come to Rowan?
Well, I think first and foremost, they have to be a good student. You're not going to get into a quality school without being a good student. And I think the overall scope of things is do you have the right technical ability? Do you have the right tactical ability? And most important, are you a good teammate? That's one of the things is we see a young lady on the recruiting trail who's out there just screaming at her teammates and doing the things that you probably shouldn't be doing on the field. She could be a great player, but there's not a lot of coaches that are going to touch her. So it's about putting in the extra work, and you can see on the recruiting trail, you can see the kids who do the work on their own. Club season's great and high school season's great, but you can actually see the difference between a kid going in their backyard or to a field on extra nights and all that. And I think that's what it comes down to is, people want to be recruited, people want to play soccer, but, are they willing to sacrifice, going out with their friends a couple nights a week and stuff like that to do that? And I think it's very visible out there who really wants it and who doesn't. And that's kind of the first thing we look at.
Coach, real quick, one more question I have before we let you go. How much do you guys, as college coaches and recruiters, how much do you monitor social media, and how much can that influence a decision if somebody is very outspoken on social media and maybe saying some things that might be insensitive, that kind of thing? How much should these high school kids really monitor what they do on social media?
We have a saying in our program. If you want your grandmother to read, if you're okay with your grandmother reading your post, then we're okay with it. So
that's a good saying to live by.
Yeah, but we've actually backed off quite a few girls just because of that fact.
Really?
I'm not a big social media person, but my assistant coaches I know monitor that, and it's the same thing as if a kid's a partier or something like that, and they're putting it out there on social media, there's 9 times out of 10, whatever they're putting out in social media from their high school days, they're going to certainly do that in their college days unless they, really decide to clean things up and stuff like that. But it's crazy now. I know there's 10-year-olds out there with social media accounts and all that. I mean, you know way too much about the person now, and it's a scary thing. But we just got to make sure that we're getting the right person into the program. And I mean, you hear horror stories all over the country, especially football, basketball, where these kids are, just not posting the right thing, and they're not getting the recruiting calls that they've gotten before. But I just think it's crazy. But we definitely do monitor that, and obviously we don't catch everything, but it's something that's out there, and it's something that everybody should be aware about. And there's always somebody out there watching you, and that's what you also have to think about. But it is a crazy world, but we're living with it, and I don't believe that you should post anything. I mean, I do have social media, and I post my kids' pictures. I very rarely post anything political or anything like that, right, because you're going to offend somebody. And I'm not big on it either, but I don't know how to work it half the time. So little old school there.
There you go. Good stuff, Coach. We're up against the break, but appreciate you taking a few minutes. Rowan at Stockton, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Get out there if you want to see some great soccer. Good luck the rest of the season, Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that was Coach Scott Leacott from Rowan University Women's Soccer